So Inoue, in a simple sense, is explosive. He is technical. At first, when I first saw him, he reminded me of Manny Pacquiao. He has that intensity, that speed, and he has this capacity to really overwhelm his opponents. And whether it's the triple left hook or that explosive one too, Inoue mixes technique. He mixes technique with excellence. He entertains the crowd and he overwhelms his opponents. He is the truth and he deserves recognition. Many consider Inoue as the top 3 on the pound for pound list. That in itself is exceptional and it shows that he has elite caliber. He reads openings in a split second and he punishes every mistake. He carries that quiet menace, knowing that one shot can totally end the night. And there's patience behind his violence, a calm mind directing brutal precision. When Inoue steps through the ropes, you're not just watching a fight, you're watching a statement. This man is on an elite level. Now, before we move into the main sections, here is a quick caveat. I apologize in advance for any mispronunciation. So let's get started. What is mental strength? Or what does mental strength look like? That's probably a much better question. Now, when Muhammad Ali showed mental strength to endure punishing blows from George Foreman, Evander Holyfield showed mental strength when he took those blows from Riddick Bowe in round 10 of their first fight. Now, these two examples, they're extreme. They're of an extreme nature. But there is another chapter, or there is another element to mental strength. There is a mental strength, for example, to get through a training camp, a mental strength to maintain composure. There is a mental strength in trusting your power, trusting your technique, and trusting your trainer, trusting your corner, etc. And it can go on and on. Now, Inoue's mental strength, from my perspective, is in his calm, because he walks into hostile arenas and treats them like they're his own gym. He moves up in weight, faces bigger men, and never changes his expression, the ultimate poker face. There is a mental strength in how he waits for the perfect opening instead of trying to force the knockout. He's patient, but he's aggressive at the same time. There is a mental strength in how he gets clipped, resets his feet, and then comes back even stronger. He trusts his preparation so deeply that big fight pressure just becomes like another round of sparring. From my perspective, Inoue believes in his own power, and he never tries to rush it. He never chases it. He lets it arrive on time. Inoue just doesn't break opponents up physically. He breaks their belief, and that is the mental strength at a higher level, or at least on a different level. So let's talk about the Nonito Donaire fight. Now, Nonito Donaire was a very popular name in boxing. I remember his power early in his career. I actually have this vague recollection of him, and I believed he knocked down an opponent even though the punch was blocked. So, Donaire had serious power. He was full of speed, and he was a multiple world champion, and because he was Filipino, they were comparing him to Manny Pacquiao. And Nonito Donaire was the underdog in the first fight, even though he had that reputation and he had those accomplishments. Clearly his career was nearing its end, but he deeply tested Inoue in that fight, or in their first fight. In round 2, a right hand from Donaire damaged Inoue's orbital bone, and in rounds 4 and in rounds 5 and in rounds 9, Donaire landed some big punches. Think of this, it's in these moments that we see our true character. And we might ask a question, do we quit? Do we survive, or do we try and find solutions? This is when it gets hard. This is where your psychology can get deeply affected. Your nature of reality suspended as you deal with a very, very strong opposing force. It's a powerful point. But Inoue walked through that jungle because he weathered that storm. He fought like a warrior. And Donaire, another warrior, broke Inoue's nose and fractured his orbital bone. That's the brutal reality. But he could not break or fracture Inoue's spirit. This is the psychology of a true champion. I repeat, this is the psychology of a true champion. Experience is essential in life. Let me explain. Let's say you go to a job interview, and in this job interview, the first time you go for it, you lose your words, you stumble, and you miss your chance. But if you got a second shot at the job interview and you learned from your experience, you'd walk in sharper, stronger, and ultimately more prepared. Sometimes that's all it takes to decide the difference between winning and losing, the difference between getting the job or facing rejection, the difference between a close decision or a knockout. Now, with the rematch with Donaire, this told the story of experience. A straight right with a short trajectory claimed the first knockdown in round 1, and a vicious left hook from Inoue introduced the beginning of the end in round 2. And let's give Donaire some credit here. To stay standing after such a formidable punch says a lot about his character, and it shows that ultimately he's a true warrior. And of course, the ending was inevitable. And when one warrior dies, another one rises. In this sense, the torch was passed from one legend to another. And in one sense, they both shared a common anomaly. They were power punchers at lighter weights. When they punched, you could hear the force. It felt like punches from super middleweights or light heavyweights. You could feel the energy. That's power that transcends physical stature. Anyway, the victory cemented Inoue as the ring's pound for pound at the time. It was a significant victory, and it showed that he had a high level of excellence. Now, when you're undefeated, I would argue that your reality is different. You punch different, you move different, and your belief is on a different level. You have a different mindset. So when Inoue stepped up against Stephen Fulton, he walked straight into that psychology of belief. In one sense, Inoue was looking into a mirror. And you could ask yourself, what does a lion see when he stares at another lion? Does he see fear? Does he see competition? Or does he see just another lion? In this fight, Stephen held the WBO and he held the WBC titles. He was a real, solid, strong opposing force. So this battle showed the technical side of Inoue, because in the 8th round, Inoue's jab to the body wasn't just a weapon. It wasn't just a weapon, it was a trap. Because after that third jab to the body came the thunderous, and I mean thunderous, right hand to the head. And just like that, it was over. Think of it like this. The jab to the body was a distraction from the knockout punch. That jab to the body, it was almost like the web. And the right hand, that was like the bite. In this context, Inoue wasn't just dominant. He was absolutely sensational. Because in the jungle, all the lions are strong. But at the same time, not all the lions are the same. In the end, Inoue is more than his knockouts, because every moment where doubt tried to speak, he refused to listen. He believed in his ability. So in that sense, he walked through Donaire's fire and came out sharper, and that was a significant fire. He walked into Fulton's belief and showed him a higher level of reality. He moved up in weight, broke new champions, but never broke his own composure. This recipe is what makes him feel unstoppable. It's not just power, it's the control behind the power. And that's an important part of the equation. It's the discipline in his chaos, the patience, the absolute patience in his pressure, the silence in his confidence. Think of this. Some fighters win with size. Some fighters win with speed. Inoue wins with a mind that simply does not shake. Why? I think it's because he trusts his preparation. He trusts his timing. He trusts when the opening appears. He will see it, but more importantly, he will take it. Inoue just doesn't beat opponents. He takes away their belief. He takes away their resistance. He takes away their answers. Because in the end, boxing is not just about who hits harder. It's also about who refuses to break. And Inoue, time and time again, has showed us that he does not break.